Did you see the fight?
I didn't see it even. I didn't even see a frame of it.
Bro,
I saw a replay.
People really loved the
Even
fight.
knowing the ending, I was like, this is fucking incredible.
Is it just like they were just throwing haymakers and not falling?
You don't see heavyweights do this.
Yeah.
You don't see heavyweights do this because usually, especially with heavyweight boxers, usually they never start young. I mean, even Deontay Wilder, right? I think he played
19.
football maybe or something like that, and then he started boxing
Started at
when
19,
he was a
I
little
know
bit
that.
older. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're big and you live in America,
Yeah.
like you're not choosing boxing.
No.
There are other sports you can make way more money, have a much easier life.
Yes.
Right? So Tyson Fury comes from a legit boxing family, like a dynasty.
Named after Mike Tyson.
Named after Mike Tyson by his father.
I
who
love.
was
Is that
also
true?
a
I didn't
boxer.
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's hilarious. You know, ASAP Rocky's named after Rakim.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, this is it. Okay, so you decide what your kid's going to be before he's
Yeah.
old enough to decide for himself.
Well, yeah.
And then
I
it
mean,
works out.
Yeah. A lot of people were named after rappers. He just happens to be good at rap.
So they go and they fight, and this is the trilogy fight, and everybody, myself included, thought Tyson Fury was just going to walk all over him, like just because
It's a trilogy fight the way Dave and trans people is a trilogy fight. Right?
That's good. Last time I'm fighting this dude, this is it.
Haymakers back and forth. You know what I mean?
100%. So yeah, so
When the trans person kissed Dave at the weigh-in, I knew that was.
it was gonna be serious?
I was like, he is not going to take this well at all. Go ahead.
So they're basically in there, and Deontay comes a little bit more prepared for this one, and they were fucking slugging away. We're talking about like 240. I think Deontay was 245, and then Tyson was 277. This is a lot of weight. This is heavyweight division. One punch, you go down. That's it. That's why it's interesting. It's like the lighter guys are fun to watch because they're so skilled and they're running around. But at the end of the day, it's like they can just pound on each other's heads. It's rare that you're going to get these big knockouts. Manny Pacquiao was so exciting because here's this little guy that could actually pack a punch.
Yeah.
Right? Like you guys can't remember last time Floyd knocked someone out.
Do you ever go to a Floyd fight?
Yeah.
It was like watching a guy in fast forward and the other person's in normal
regular.
speed. It was oh, this is just not fair.
Yeah. It was amazing.
So great.
I saw Floyd Canelo live. It was fucking unreal. But anyway, so they start fighting, and they're swinging, and it looks like Tyson is going to kind of start bullying Wilder, and then Wilder catches him with a really short right hand and drops him, and then drops him again at the end of the round. So all of a sudden you're like, holy shit.
Right.
And
like,
then
I don't even know what's
you don't know
happening.
what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the fight, even though Fury's starting to come on and starting to outbox him and starting to bully him, you know that all it takes is one shot. The guy already went down. So for 11 rounds, it's just this scintillating, nonstop action from heavyweights. You never see it from heavyweights. And then Fury knocks him out in just like this amazingly beautiful, I think he dips under, hits him with like an overhand right, finishes him. They stop the fight. Deontay Wilder shows so much fucking heart. Like both guys leave the fight beloved.
Yeah.
Everybody who watched it was like, yo, both of y'all, if you ever fight again, I will watch you guys fight again. The worst part of the whole fight is that Deontay didn't want to shake his hand afterwards. Like,
why? He was just like
Ego
on
probably.
some shit, yeah.
Some
They
dumb
had
shit.
beef after the other fights. Like he accused him of cheating and like
Yeah,
using
Deontay's been a
weighted
sore loser.
gloves and
He's a sore loser. That's it.
He's sort of.
He
but he's
never
got a hell
mentions
of
the
a
fact
fucking
that
heart.
you're not in shape. He never says, I don't
get
like
beat up by
I
the
don't
guy
like
who's not
getting
in
beat up
shape.
by a guy who's not a guy who works for UPS.
But we do live in an interesting time though. Like I was talking to my girl's dad about this, but like we're like Tom Brady and Tyson Fury.
yeah.
Like there's not a single abdominal muscle between the two of them.
Yeah.
And these are the most dominant people in their respective sports.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this fucking fight, and I asked her probably on like Twitter, Instagram, but I'm just like,
Who was I talking? There's a guy in the NBA. He played for Milwaukee and Chicago.
How long
Jabari
ago?
Parker.
yeah, Parker, yeah.
And he just has like
he's a little puff,
doughy.
but you know what that is.
And no.
He's Mormon,
I
right?
said somebody. No, that's why I was like.
I'm pretty sure
why
he's
is he in bad shape? And they go, that guy eats perfectly,
Really?
and he can't. He just has a soft looking body.
He doesn't. He's not on the sauce.
No.
Usually, guys like that in the
Yeah, of
league,
course.
they're on the sauce.
Yeah.
But interesting, yeah. And he
Some
always
guys
said-
just can't get. They're just doughy. Like Will Ferrell can run marathons.
and he just
Will
looks
Ferrell,
like
and he
that.
just is doughy. And some people just
That's
got
diet,
bad
bro.
bodies.
You're off the bread, you'll be good. I really believe that. You stay off carbs, you'll be fucking good.
All right, cool.
Anyway, I'm literally watching this fight, and I'm like, what? You stay off carbs, you'll be good.
Jabari Parker, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Yo, if you get
Yeah,
off
if you're
carbs,
listening, Jabari Parker.
Yeah.
if he
I
gets
bet
off
he.
carbs,
From what I hear, he's off carbs.
no way.
Okay.
You think Tom Brady's on the carbs?
Tom Brady's on carbs.
He's not on carbs.
he's
He's
the
fucking
cleanest
like,
Have you
he's
seen
got,
Tom
he
Brady's
gets
diet?
like a tiny fucking.
He eats avocados.
Have you seen him without a
Avocado
shirt
ice
on?
cream. Say what?
Have you seen him without a shirt
Yeah.
on? This is like a guy who's about to
He has
fold under
not seen him.
questioning.
Yeah.
Like a guy is like, no,
questions
the
away.
cops. Yeah, bring the cops in. I'll talk to them. What? No. Yeah, I saw the picture. Where'd you see it? No, I don't remember. Tom Brady, I think, is like for his age, is in very good shape.
For his age, yeah, he's in great shape, but he's also the greatest football player in history, and he's never had an amazing physique.
Right.
Just like Tyson Fury.
Right. Well, that's the thing where I think I think now, just because it's like you look at like Johnny Unitas, those guys didn't know about nutrition.
Yeah.
And they had day jobs. Don't worry. Don't look at that.
Day jobs.
But these guys can just be about
No black
working
guys yet.
out. You ever watch
there's a picture of Len Dawson, in like halftime of the Super Bowl, the championship or something like that.
Smoking a cigarette?
Smoking a cigarette,
Yeah.
drinking a beer at halftime. Blows my fucking
Hank
mind.
Aaron used to smoke cigarettes in the dugout.
Baseball makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
they
it's
still do
one
tobacco
sport- yeah.
to this day.
You could do other things
it's
while
true.
you play baseball.
Yeah.
But football is wild.
It's wild.
Yeah.
As
Anyway,
a quarterback, sauced up, making reads.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be the
crazy.
future of the combine. They're gonna be looking for fat guys, 100%.
Yeah.
They're gonna see some guy be like, too many abs.
it's the now. Oh, well, in some positions. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm watching Tyson Fury fight, and I'm like, who could beat this guy? And then I started thinking, like, historically, who could beat him? I think Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time.
Stop.
Everybody guffaws when I say it.
Stop.
Just tell me the guy that can beat him.
Yeah, but
if
you're also
telling
talking
me
50
real
years in the
quick,
future.
6'9" Tyson Fury
He does look, he's fucking huge.
is going to get beaten by 5'10" Mike Tyson. You're
Muhammad
out of
Ali.
your
He got
mind.
knocked
Muhammad
out?
Ali?
Muhammad Ali, what, 6'1",
George
6'3".
Foreman.
6'3", and what did the top? What did he weigh? 220 pounds at his top. He was probably hovering around 208, 211 when he was fighting. Like 277. George Foreman is closest.
6'4".
But if Ali is outboxing George Foreman, imagine what's going to happen when a guy 6'9" is in front of him with great foot movement, fast hands. The only person I can think of is Lennox Lewis, because Lennox
I was going to pitch him.
Now, here's the thing.
He's just because he was huge.
Because he was big, he's tall, he had great reach and great power. But here's the thing.
He also gave one of my favorite interviews after a fight where I think he lost, but the British accent, he was like, did he even throw one jab? It was so
He's
fucking
fully
funny.
Canadian.
Yeah. No,
and he
yeah.
just chose to use the British accent. He went Madonna.
Yeah, exactly.
But the point is, I'm watching and I'm like, if Lennox Lewis is the only guy that can beat Tyson Fury, right? Nobody considers Lennox Lewis the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is what I was saying last week or on Patreon
Tyson's
or
the
something.
greatest.
It just moves forward. Like, if you put Giannis, he's not the greatest basketball player of all time, but if you drop him in the 60s, they're not going to know what the fuck this thing is. Because everything just moves forward.
Yeah. People get better at their respective
People get better,
art forms,
they
yeah.
get bigger, they get faster, they get stronger, everything. They just, somehow, as time passes, we just get more and more dynamic at everything.
Yeah.
So Tyson might be able to beat any heavyweight going back, but that doesn't make him the greatest heavyweight ever.
Yeah.
You got to put them in their time and consider them in their time.
And
Just to that point, real quick.
Okay.
Just to that point. If things get better as we go along,
Yeah.
we're currently, according to that argument, in the best, right?
Yes.
Because things are getting better. And if this is the best guy of now, which is the best version of the sport, he's the best ever. According to your
you
argument.
use greatest is where I tripped up. The first time you said he's the greatest heavyweight ever, I think great is a little different. Best, sure, he might be able to beat any of these guys because of the era we're in. And 20 years from now, there'll be a lot of people who could beat the shit out of this guy. That's just how time moves.
we're not there.
But if we're talking great relative to your time, I don't know boxing, but I'm assuming it's going to be an Ali who fought Foreman and Frazier and Liston and whoever else, as opposed to Tyson Fury,
Yeah,
who
Frazier
fought Wilder.
feels like he can knock him
and that's
out
it.
with like a fucking hard.
Frazier was 5'10".
I agree.
He wouldn't even touch him.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
think about it. Wilder was touching Fury, and Wilder's not a great boxer.
Yo.
He's just a slugger. If you put Ali in front of him, yes, he's shorter, but he's an actual boxer and can touch
Let
him.
me give a little pushback about that. So Deontay Wilder is 6'7". What a lot of people don't realize about Deontay Wilder is like what he lacks in skills, he makes up for in the fact that he's the hardest puncher in the history of boxing. He had 42 fights before that fight, and 41 ended in knockout. That's the highest knockout percentage in history. He's the hardest puncher in history. Nobody's close, probably, right? So when you're 6'7", you can have kind of shitty fundamentals because you're so much taller than people you're fighting. They have to take risks in order to hit you. And the second they take those risks, boom, game over. He goes up against a guy 6'9" who can actually keep him out there, and he still fights him well. It's like, I'm telling you, I don't see anybody. I know this sounds blasphemous, but including
you're not
Ali
that
beating
wrong. If you're not, I know what you mean. I see your point.
Yeah.
There's just physics here. It's like,
Yeah.
who's going to touch him?
Yeah.
And everybody goes Lennox, and I think that's reasonable. But if we're going Lennox as the only guy,
But Lennox also wasn't like dominant. He was like the champ, but he wasn't like
He got beat.
God damn! It wasn't like he murdered people.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. He got. I just think I know it's crazy to say, but if you really sit down and look at it, and you're like, who could beat? Could Mike Tyson beat him? There's no way in hell. There's no way. I don't even know if he could reach him. He could literally just stand up straight in front of him. I don't even know if Mike is reaching him with the punches.
Yeah, but Mike would get close. Like Mike's styles, I'm
do what?
going like this. I'm gonna take some hits while I'm getting close to you, and once I'm close, now I'm bodying you. I'm taking you to the body, and then I'm going up
close with that big old jab.
Yeah,
6
I'm
feet
telling you,
9,
he would
great
just
footwork.
run through that shit. He just walks in like this, just takes punches. I'm telling you, Mike could do it, and I think Ali would be able to do it.
Nah, bro.
Because Ali could take a lot of punishment.
Ali
and
could
still,
take the punishment.
Yeah.
But how close is he to Deontay Wilder?
Who?
Tyson Fury.
Close is he in terms of what?
In terms of skill, in terms of...
I think he's significantly better.
Yeah,
But
skill-wise,
Deontay's got the equalizer, which is the power. If he touches you, you go down. There's nothing you could do. Turns it off.
It's so funny how unpopular it is.
What?
Like heavyweights used to be the only
The only
game in
thing we cared
town,
about,
and now I'm like, who?
Yeah.
I
Sad,
like
right?
when you talk about it, I'm like, is that the big fat guy? Is that the
Yeah.
other guy? Like, and I like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Are you in MMA at all? Are you getting into
not
that?
even a little.
Really?
It's actually too violent for me.
Interesting. My dad says the same thing. And he's a huge boxing fan.
I was
Yeah.
watching boxing this time. Them two, I was like, this is like, these guys are all getting concussions. It's crazy you get a concussion, then you get back up and you keep fighting.
Yeah.
And you just, a couple rounds in, you're back to, hopefully back to normal.
That's the thing with MMA is like people think MMA is way more brutal because you hit someone when they're on the ground.
Right.
Right. But the reality is letting somebody get back up after they were concussed.
Yeah.
And keep fighting.
Yes.
Even while their knees are still wobbling. That's way
Is
more
a
brutal.
war crime.
It's
It's a
insane.
fucking
dude.
war
Yeah,
crime.
It's torture.
Yeah.
It's insane that we allow that, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually apparently way worse for you boxing.
Well,
way more
because you
brain
get
damage.
hit so much more.
Yeah. Sustained punishment.
Football's kind of too violent for me
So
now.
they say that boxing and football is the same thing. It's like that constant, like
Yeah.
you're just knocking it constantly. Whereas MMA, it's like one big shot, lights out, ref jumps in there.
Yeah.
You're taking less punishment.
It's mostly
over your
getting
whole
split.
career.
You're like bleeding a lot more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also there's more cost to punch
I also
someone.
don't, be
That's
honest,
true.
I
You
don't like
hurt. Your hand hurts.
I don't like the barefoot thing. I don't want to see feet.
Barefoot.
I don't want to see feet.
I thought you were you fucked up bare knuckle,
Nah.
You never heard of barefoot
Feet.
boxing?
barefoot
Yeah,
box.
it's really popular. It's getting really
You
popular.
don't like seeing the feet.
Nah.
Dude, there was a gnarly thing that happened in this fight. This guy kicks a guy in the face, right? He does like an up kick, kicks a guy in the face, breaks his big toe when he does it, right?
Gosh.
He goes back down to like plant his feet, and this, assume that's the big toe. This big toe is just pointing up, right? And as he's looking at the other guy, he looks down at it, takes his other foot, just pushes the big toe back down onto the canvas, keeps on fighting.
That's called
toes
cartoon
aren't the-
logic. It's like, what would Daffy Duck do? I think he would step on his own fucking broken toe.
Nah, but yo,
You have a giant knife, you gotta push it down.
surprisingly, toes aren't that big of a deal. Like when I used to do karate, I broke 3 toes, like kicking and shit like that.
There's
and you can
nothing
just
that-
keep
I broke
going.
both
Like
my
it doesn't hurt
little
that
toes
much.
on
It
both
doesn't
feet.
mess up your balance that much.
Really?
Yeah.
There's also nothing they can do.
Big toe
Oh
seems
yeah,
like
they
you're
just say
fucked.
don't walk on it or some shit.
Yeah.
They can't put it in a cast.
Yeah.
If you break your big toe, I would think you're fucked.
I would
Nah,
too.
it's not that bad.
Apparently, you can just step
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. Did you try stepping on it out?
I did.
you
I didn't
should
try
try
that. I
it.
should have
That's a
tried.
good one.
Yeah, I
So
waited till
you broke
after.
it
Yeah,
in like competition?
in competition,
And just
yeah.
kept going.
Just kept going. Adrenaline, you don't feel it, and then afterwards, it hurts a little bit, but it doesn't hurt that much.
Which toe?
'Cause
Which toe?
It was different ones. So one time was a big toe, and then the other time was a pinky, and then
Yo, sorry, a couple questions I had about the Wilder fight. I
Yeah.
saw the replay. First of all, Wilder looked like a better boxer this time. Like
Yeah.
he looked.
Yeah.
Usually I watch him, he just looks crazy.
Yep.
Also, here's one question. Fury would put Wilder in this headlock a lot, and the ref would always break it up.
Yeah.
Fury's first knockdown of Wilder, he popped him, got him once, then put him in a headlock, then uppercutted him.
It's a classic
yeah,
veteran
dirty
move.
Nice
That's
dirty
like
boxing.
using the arm hook in basketball to drive. It's like kind of dirty, but everybody does it. Okay.
You use this hand, or what depends, whatever. But you use one hand to kind of hold their head down.
Yeah.
And then you uppercut with the other. But if you're really good, you keep the ref on the hand holding side. So if the ref is right here, you just put the hand here, and then you uppercut with the left, so the ref can't see you. Because the ref would be like, "Hey, that's illegal. You can't hold his head down and punch him at the same time." But yeah, this is a guy like the Furies have been fighting since they're 4 years old. They're gypsies.
Yeah.
Like they're legit gypsies. Like not like we're playing around for this for like the title.
He looks like he trains only outside.
He has a Winnebago.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
That they go live in sometimes.
Yep,
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
That's the life that they call
Yeah.
them, the travelers or
Yeah,
something like that,
traveling,
because
yeah.
you're not supposed to use gypsy. And he just said, "Well, no, I'm going to use gypsy." And he's also the baddest guy on the planet. So it's like, I guess you can just use that if you want. But like, that is the fucking life. And they fight. They're called like fighting men. And
Yeah.
it could be in a field on some like Brad Pitt in Lock, Stock shit. Was it Lock, Stock or just
Yeah,
Snatch?
Snatch.
Snatch, probably.
Yeah, don't know.
Snatch.
But yeah, of course, man. It's rare. You're never going to get that. A guy 6'9" in America is playing basketball or football, and he would never be brought to a boxing gym. Out of his mind if he was brought to a
You
boxing
talk about
gym.
head movement sometimes with boxers. I notice it with Fury.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking crisp, dude. Just in and out, slip,
Yeah.
bang. It's
when he
crazy.
knocked him out, he dipped the fucking punch.
Yeah.
Caught him with an overhand right.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
It really is the difference of doing something your whole life and getting into something kind of later and like figuring it out. Even though one is like an elite athlete and the other one's just sort of like a massive guy.
Yeah.
I went to
could
the
see it with
Triple
those two guys, yeah.
G Canelo fight,
Oh, dude.
and I was
Which one?
the
They had a trilogy
the
too, right?
second one,
Second one.
and I was front row, and at one point they're 8 feet from you, right?
yeah.
And at one point, Canelo punched Triple G, this, and he didn't blink. And I was like, oh, these guys, this is some other shit.
Bro, they're the guy that I train with, right? He used to be on the Egyptian Olympic team, right? And he's won a bunch of like world titles and that kind of stuff. This is in amateur. Hossam Abdin, great trainer. You should go train with him in New York. But he said they used to do a drill where they would take a glove not in a hand, but just a glove outside of a hand, and you'd leave your eyes open, and they would just punch you in the face with not with your hand in the glove, but just holding it like
just
that.
like getting used to.
So you get used to not blinking while a punch is coming at your face.
Yeah, the most basic human instinct there is.
Yeah.
And they beat it.